Hello bookworms! Today I'm going to be sharing my September book haul with you. So, I know that I said in August that I was going to try to not buy very many books in September because of how many books I had gotten in August, but I did have a bunch of special editions and pre-orders come in, so I still do have a lot here, and then I did have one day where I was like, I just really need to buy books. So I bought some books that day. I apologize if I'm a little low energy. It is so early in the morning and I have not yet had my tea, but hopefully I'll get more excited as this video keeps going. But anyway, I'll just get started. So first up, and one of the most beautiful books, is the FairyLoot edition of Fourth Wing. I really like the alternate cover that they did. The original, like the gold, is on the other side of this, but I have this one up, and it is specifically because of the dragons. The dragons look so cool. I just think that this is so amazing. And then it has a dragon on the sprayed pages, a beautiful map, and then some of the most beautiful foiling that I've ever seen. Like, I love this. Then I have the August YA FairyLoot book, and they did Bonesmith by Nikki Palpretto. I'm really excited to read this one. I think this will actually be a really good read for October. They did the digital pages where it continues the cover over here, but I actually really like the pages on the top and the bottom. They're very creepy. Got a really pretty end papers. This is Under the Dust Jacket, which is really cool. I like the white on the green, and then some alternates. Art. Next up, I have the Owlcrate edition of Masters of Death by Olivia Blake. This was the adults book of the month in August, I want to say. I love this. I think it is such a pretty edition. So it has black sprayed pages. It's got a little quote on the back. So this is underneath the dust jacket. But what I really love about this one are the end papers. It has the two families in it, and I just think that's like stunning. And then there's also alternate art on the dust jacket. Then I have the Waterstones exclusive edition of Herc by Phoenicia Rogerson. This one has blue sprayed pages, which I didn't even know when I ordered it. I was just like, oh, that sounds cool. It's a Greek myth retelling, and I thought that this one was kind of interesting. It's like a little bit different than some other ones. So it's called Herc. So you would think it would be the story of Hercules, but it's actually not. It's the story of everyone else in the story of Hercules. So I thought that that was kind of like a fun concept for this one. Then I have the Broken Binding edition of Thornhedge by T. Kingfisher. This is her newest adult fantasy book. It's a novella. It's super, super short. I think it's like only over 100 pages. Yeah, it's like 120 pages. So I'll probably read this really quick, like one day when I'm home and feeling bored. And then it has some purple pages, some castle end papers, and it just has the title on the book, which is actually pretty lovely. I think the UK cover on this one is so much better than the US cover. Then I have a really heavy and really beautiful book, and that is the Sword of Kaigen special edition. This was a Kickstarter, so I backed this one. Such a gorgeous book. Like, it makes me so much more excited for the rest of the Wraithmark projects that I have backed. So it has this gorgeous cover. It has silver gilded pages. This is the back of it. And then honestly, this spine is just amazing. Like, I'm really excited to have that displayed on my shelf. It also came with an exclusive bookmark. Then the naked hardcover, once again, is gorgeous. That's the spine naked and the back naked. The end papers. So there's artwork on this side, and then the other side, I just love this. This gorgeous, gorgeous map in that like beautiful Asian art style. I think it's stunning. Next, I have the Owlcrate YA September book, and that was A Study in Drowning by Ava Reed. It's very metallic-y. I think that this artwork is so beautiful. It's very like ethereal. I love like just like how her hair is like blowing in the wind. I think it's so pretty. And I really do like the metallic too. I think it's a very nice addition. We've got the spine, and then this is the backing. There are no sprayed pages on this one, which I was actually surprised about since I know that they've been kind of like getting into doing that. Then below the dust jacket is the original US cover, and on the back there is a quote, more art on the dust jacket underneath. And then while we're talking about A Study in Drowning, I will show you the Waterstones exclusive edition. So this is the UK cover, which is very different than the US one. I actually like the US cover better, which is surprising. I usually don't. This is a good cover too. And then I like the pages on this one a lot. It has like the ocean, this backing, and papers. And then this one has a quote on it, says, "The only enemy is the sea." I still have the Illumicrate edition coming of that one, and I'm really curious to see like which of the three is the one that I like the best. And I also really hope that I love the book. Then I have the new illustrated edition of The Hobbit by Tolkien, and it's actually illustrated by Tolkien as well. This one is in the vein of the Lord of the Rings edition and the Silmarillion edition that they did for the past 2 years. I really love these. I think they're really beautiful. And then this one has sprayed blue pages, and this is the backing. And the naked hardcover is also really pretty. I'm a sucker for foiling. The spine is lovely. Then I have Once Upon a Frosted Star by M.A. Cousinar. This is also a Waterstones exclusive edition. Again, has really pretty pages. Also, this cover is just really pretty. This is supposed to be The Great Gatsby meets Swan Lake, which sounded really interesting. And papers. And then I also got the Waterstones special edition of Circe, because how could I not? By Madeline Miller. I feel like I have a bunch of editions of this book already, but I really, really loved this one, so I just can't help myself. Then moving on to new releases. So I had pre-ordered In These Hollowed Halls, which is a dark academia anthology. So I feel like this will be absolutely perfect to read this season. It has stories from M.L. Rio, who wrote If We Were Villains and hasn't written anything since. So I've been like dying for her to come out with something new. Now I have it in my hands. There's also a story by Olivia Blake, Susie Yang, David Bell, and J.T. Ellison, and it says, "and many more." But I've been so highly anticipating this one, so I'm really, really excited to finally get to read it. Then I got House of Odysseus by Claire North, and funny story about this book, I had pre-ordered a copy in the US, and when it came, it had a flat yellow, like, circle on here, and I was like, what the heck? I thought that was supposed to be, like, foil, like gold foil, because the first book in the series, Ithaca, also has gold foiling, so I was like, that's so weird, and then I was looking online, and I was like, how do other people have a gold foiled edition? So I ended up returning my copy and ordering a copy from Blackwell's in the UK, because it seems like the UK one is the one that has the gold foil. So fun fact if you're interested in that kind of thing. This is the second book in Claire North's Greek myth series, and I'm really excited to read this one. Then I got the anniversary edition of Queen of Air and Darkness by Cassandra Clare. This is a UK edition, and it matches the previous books which they've done. I really like the pink and purple. I do think that's a lot of fun. But I am really running out of shelf space for Shadowhunter books, so I'm gonna have to be a little bit pickier in the future about which ones I actually pick up. I actually decided not to get the Fairy Loot Mortal Instruments ones, and we'll see if I come to regret that, but I feel like I just have so many Shadowhunter books and like so many copies of the same Shadowhunter books, and I need to like nix that. Then Andrew went away on a work trip, and he surprised me and sent me a copy of Tolkien's Unfinished Tales, which was on my Amazon wishlist, and I'm so excited to read this one and to have it for my collection. You guys know how much I love Lord of the Rings, and there are like quite a few of these books that are out now, and I definitely want to collect all of them. It's edited by Christopher Tolkien, and I'm just so excited to read it, and it was just like so thoughtful and a complete surprise. I was not expecting it at all, and I'm so happy. Like, I opened it and I was just like smiling from ear to ear. So really, really excited to have this one. Then I'll talk about these ones together. So I got The Fall and Of Blood and Fire by Ryan Cahill. This is the first book and novella in the Bound and the Broken series. Then this is the official first full-length novel. I read this, I loved it, and I'm so excited to read this one. I actually have the Broken Binding edition too, but I also really like the original covers, so I figured I'll add them to my collection slowly as I read them. Then I got paperback copies of Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez and Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. I have like a mix of hardcover and paperback romance books on my shelf, and I kind of decided that I think I want to stick with paperbacks for romance just because the majority of them are paperback and I feel like they go really well together. So outside of like the Afterlight editions or any that Fairy Loot might do, for most of them I want to stick with these. So I picked these up because I had hardcovers of both. But unfortunately, I feel like Grand Central Publishing keeps like driving me nuts because this book is a companion to this book, but look, why are they not the same height? This just makes me so mad. And they did the same exact thing with Abby Jimenez's other series. So the Friend Zone series, books 1 and 2 are the same height. They look beautiful together. And then the third book, which also has a yellow spine, is also tall and awkward and doesn't fit. So hopefully this one is the same height as that one, and then I can at least keep these two together. But I just wish that they would come up with like a consistent sizing for her stories. Then I also got the Berkeley edition of Lovelight Farms by B.K. Borison. I've been just loving this series. I actually think the first book is the weakest. The first one I don't really like as much, but I have the indie published version, and I really wanted to have like a matching set because I have the Berkeley ones for Mixed Signals and In the Weeds. And it's also very nice to pick up a book I've already read, so I'm not adding to my TBR. Next up, I got the entire Eden series by Devney Perry, and I've been really wanting to read these, and I think I just really love the covers. So I just had a day where I was like, they're really not that much. So I read the first chapter of the first book and was like, okay, I can justify getting these because I liked that chapter. Let's see if I can figure out the reading order. So going in order, the first one is Indigo Ridge, then Juniper Hill. This is also, just so you know, like a romance. I think it's like a companion romance series, and I believe there's like a suspense element to it. Then Garnet Flats, Jasper Vale, and Crimson River. And there is a sixth book that I think is coming out in December. And there's also a Christmas like prequel short story. So I think I'm going to read the first book, and if I end up really enjoying it, I will order the Christmas prequel too, because how could I not? Then I decided that I do really want to watch the One Piece adaptation, but I want to read the manga first, obviously. So I already have the first volume, and I looked up what the show covers, and it sounds like it covers through volume 10. So I got volume 7, 8, 9 and volume 10, 11, 12. I also ordered volumes 4, 5, 6 in the bind up edition from Barnes & Noble, but it's literally been weeks and it still hasn't shipped. I have a feeling that a lot of people are trying to do the same thing as me, and they might have gone like temporarily out of stock or something, but I am really hoping that that will come soon so that I can read these and then watch the show. And then I have 3 books that were kindly sent by publishers. So the first one is Rain by Catherine McGee. I really, really love this series. This is a quartet. This is the final book in the series. It's technically like a fantasy because takes place in like an alternate America where there's a royal family, like it's if America was a monarchy instead of a democracy. So there's that element, but outside of that, that's like the only twist, and otherwise it totally just reads as a contemporary. But it's so much fun. I really love the characters. I feel like the last book was so strong and it just left me really wanting more. So I can't wait to see how everything's gonna wrap up for everyone. Hopefully we'll get some happily ever afters. But yeah, very excited. Then they also sent me The Society for Soulless Girls by Laura Steven, and this is a dark academia YA novel. This one hadn't been on my radar, so I'm pretty excited to read it. I do really like the cover. It did come a little bit beat up in the mail, unfortunately, but that's okay. Samantha Shannon says it's a modern gothic gem. So this takes place at a school where 10 years ago there were 4 students who lost their lives, and then the school shut, and now it's 10 years later and they are reopening. So this girl is going and attending the school, and then her roommate finds this book in the library with some kind of ritual in it, and suddenly another student loses their life, and then they're kind of having to figure out if there is a killer loose in the school or what's going on. It sounds really good. I think I'm definitely going to try to read this one in October. I got Exquisite Exandria, which is a Critical Role cookbook, and I'm really excited about this one. I can't wait to make a whole bunch of these recipes. Andrew and I both love Critical Role so much, and it was so fun to see like the foods that we had recognized from the different campaigns, and also some new things that were obviously invented for the book. But it's just so fun. I can't wait to make these. I just think the artwork on the title page is also really pretty. We've got our adventurers sitting down to feast. It's also broken down into the different areas that the campaigns take place in, which I think is really fun. So there's like something for everyone who has watched at least one of the campaigns or some of one of the campaigns. And then actually last, I also got sent a copy of Black River Orchard by Chuck Wendig. This one sounds so good. I talked about this one in my September new releases video. It takes place in like a small town, and there is this like tree that just starts producing magical apples. Sorry, 7 trees actually start producing magical apples, and it is a horror novel, and it obviously takes place in autumn, so I'm pretty excited to pick this one up. This also feels like it could be a really good option for an October read. Okay, so those are all of the books that I got in October. Not October, it's September. Those are all of the books that I got in September. A lot of them were special editions that did like come in. I hadn't purchased them during the month, but I obviously did purchase some other things, and then I got some from publishers, which was pretty nice. So that's everything that I have to share today. Let me know if you've read anything that I picked up, and that's all that I have for this video, so I'll see you guys soon in a new one. Bye!